Well, welcome back to my studio. Today I'm working on a little painting of a Tuscan garden in Tuscany. And I am painting the Italian tile roof and then the little roof over the gate. I'm using mixtures of my mud, which is 2 parts of ultramarine blue plus 1 part of alizarin crimson, and plus a little bit of white. Then I'm also using mixtures of ultramarine blue plus white. Then I have several combinations of that mud mixture to make my browns. They're almost a sienna. And again, and I've added cadmium orange to that, excuse me. So it's mud plus cadmium orange plus white. And then, like, this mixture has more white in it. And then this has a little bit of phthalo blue added into that to just give the green, those old moss-covered tiles. I'm going to do a little left-handed work here too. Work on these, just fill this in. As a painter, I've had to learn to become a little ambidextrous, particularly mixing my paint. For a long time I was both painting right-handed and mixing all of my paint right-handed, and I began to really start having problems with my right wrist and elbow because of just all that repetitious movement of mixing colors. So I've had to learn to mix colors left-handed. A lot of times I kind of lax off and start working right-handed and mixing all my colors right-handed, and after a while I begin to start feeling that little pain cropping up in my elbow and wrist. So I've had to learn to mix left-handed, and I even do some left-handed painting. Jack was in a car accident. He was right-handed, and in the accident he tore the rotator cuff in his right shoulder, so he could not paint right-handed. And next day he came in and his arm was in a sling, and he said, I've got I can select from 2 choices. I can either learn to paint left-handed, or I can not paint at all. And he said the second is not even an option. I'm not going to not paint. So he taught himself to paint left-handed, and my goodness gracious, he started working very impressionistically, and he called his paintings gaucher, which a friend of ours from France said that meant lefty in French. So he sold a lot of those gauchers, and that man was very determined, very positive, and he wasn't going to let that torn rotator cuff mess him up and stop him. Later, it took him a couple of years before he could really start working right-handed without, to have the control and everything that he needed. But he got back to painting right-handed, but he did a lot of his block-in left-handed after that. There's a will, there's a way. So I've come back in now. These tiles, as they go toward the back, I add some blue into them. This is ultramarine blue plus white. That just makes them go back. There's going to be a trumpet vine draping down over this, so I'm not going back any further on that roof. Now the ends of the tiles, these roof tiles, these curved roof tiles, I come in, let me get a little color here. This needs to have a little color. Make sure I get down in between each of those rounded roof tiles. Now I come back, this is a mixture of my mud plus liquid, and I give the shapes of the end of those tiles. This is a square brush, it's called a bright brush, and I like the square bristles on this. I can turn it and make a nice curved edge. I just come up into that wet paint, pull down. It doesn't matter if some of that color comes into the tile, this end of the tile. Just shapes those, the end of those tiles. And also then underneath, this wall is wet, and I can just pull some of that color up into here where each of the tiles are to shape those ends, and then I'll come back to a little more work on this. Now bringing my mud, they're kind of stair step back. And so there's that part of the roof. Again, I'm going to have trumpet vine draping down here. I'm also going to have trumpet vine draping over this roof. So I'm going to come in here and start putting my tiles in. This part's going to be in shadow. My sun is coming in from the upper left. It's going to hit my little red gate and down onto the tile floor. But right now I want to get my roof tiles in here, those big terracotta Italian roof tiles. Oh, Tuscany's a beautiful place. My goodness gracious, I'd go back there in a heartbeat. I just like to go travel around with sketchbook and camera. I could spend hours just walking around those little hill towns, sketching and photographing, and it's just a dream. Jack and I had a wonderful time over there, and I'd sketch, he'd photograph, and we just had a super time. We always wanted to go back, but that just wasn't in the Lord's plan for us. Maybe one day I'll get back there. Just never know. One day you just may get one of my blogs and I'm going to say, I'm in Tuscany. Now I'm coming down with some of that mud plus liquid. And there's along the ridge of this little wall, there's a tile that caps tiles cap that wall, or cap the little roof there. And again, I do this impressionistically. One of my galleries came up with a really neat term. They call my work magical impressionism, which I just love that. It's my Napa Valley gallery. Thought that was really a cool term. And then one of my collectors, who Ed Marhanka, he bought the second painting that I ever sold at my gallery, Marcus Gallery in Santa Fe in 1995. It's called Ramblin' Roses. It was the courtyard at the Santa Barbara Mission out in California. And he wrote Jack and I a letter, and he said, you need to call Mickey's paintings Billboards of Happiness. So Jack said, can we use that? May we use that in our marketing? And Ed said, I'd be delighted. So Jack said, well, tell you what, in exchange for using that Billboards of Happiness, with you coming up with that, we're just going to make you the captain of Team Senkarik. Anyone who purchases any of my paintings or prints or note cards, giclées or limited originals, they immediately become a member of Team Senkarik. And they are on my mailing list, and we just do special things for our collectors. It's wonderful, wonderful for me. Goodness gracious, my team members become friends. I mean, it's just been, over the years we have get-togethers, I have collector events, and it's just a lot of fun. Now I'm going to come back underneath and do that little bit under here. Shape these tiles. This one on the end, it comes back out over to where the sky is behind there, and I want to soften that edge just a little bit. Was a little too hard. Now I want to highlight ends of those tiles where the sun catches them, and I just come in and don't highlight every single one, but just here and there. Add little highlights there. So the sun catches those tiles at different angles. And then on this side, now this is going to be in shadow where that vine is, but then we start getting a little bit of light hitting these tiles in here. Put a little highlight on the front edge of these. I've had several people ask me to show you how I do my tile roofs. So here you go. Ask and you shall receive, eventually. I may not get to it right away, but I will get there. Now I'm going to bring a little bit of moss onto this roof, just some of that green. And I'm going to bring a little kind of a little turquoisey blue in there, just to give the feeling of those old tiles that moss grows on. And there's all kinds of color in those tiles when you start looking at them. Again, here's a little of my mud. I'm going to just bring in, don't want to just delineate between every single tile, but I do want to give a little bit of delineation in here of those creases or cracks between the individual tiles. I really appreciate you watching my YouTube videos. Please subscribe to my channel and come visit my blog. I show the complete step-by-step process of this painting as well as others I do. And the link is in the description below. I also have the address on the final frame of my video. So thank you for watching today, and just remember, today is a great day to have a great day.